Hey guys, welcome back to the Winnipeg Market Watch YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be expanding off of a video I just made a reel about where I review all of our market predictions from 2024 and then I make new predictions for 2025. And of course, this is crowdsourced and I do this for two reasons. First of all, it's very fun to make videos and content about what people generally think. But two is I really like to look at the sentiment check at any given point in the year. And I think December is an awesome month to do that. So without further ado, we're going to go through 4 of the questions that I asked my audience last year. We're going to see what the guesses were and how they turned out. And then at the end of the video, we're going to make some new guesses with very similar style questions. I'm going to go over what I think, and I am definitely going to give you guys the opportunity to share your thoughts with me on Instagram, just like I've done before. If you guys aren't following me on Instagram right now, my handle is @KeenanB_. It should pop up on the screen right now. It would be awesome if you follow me there. It's the best way to make sure that you never miss any content whatsoever. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alrighty, so on screen now, you should see the question that I asked first last year. At the time, the 2023 benchmark price high was 403,400. I asked you guys at a time that the current benchmark price was 378,700. What do you think 2024 will hold? Will we go up above 403,400, which top of my head math would have been a 6 or a 7% gain in the benchmark price from that time? 63% of you said yes, in fact, you do think it will. 13% of you said no, and a bunch of you tapped see results. So that shows me two things. First of all, most people were pretty optimistic about the market, but there was still a large section of people that were either completely unsure about what was going to happen or were actually actively negative. 13% is a very reasonable amount of you. Goes without saying, for anybody that's been watching any of my content for a while now, we are far above that. In fact, we hit 421 and change this year in 2024, and we are currently sitting at 417,500. So we're still holding very high above where 2023 was as a year at the top. The second question that I asked you guys was about the all-time high. And this one to me was a lot more interesting because this really shows, do the people who feel optimistic about the market feel super optimistic, or are the people that are super negative, maybe more in the middle ground? Where are the opinions lying exactly? And the really curious part of this answer to me is nobody tapped see results. It was just yes and no. And the vote was split 56% to 44% of people thinking that we would clear 429,300, the Winnipeg benchmark price all-time high of May 2022. And the truth is we were very close. We got to 421 and change, but we did not clear 429. And honestly, that was the closest one by far. 56 versus 44 is almost an even down the middle number. I don't remember what I voted, but I think I said I didn't predict an all-time high clear in that particular year. But for those of you who voted no in the minority, you guys were right. The third question that I asked was, where do you think the low will be? And while it's not specified in the question, I was referring to the low after summer, meaning the fall and winter low for the year, not whatever January ended up being, because that's just not a very interesting question. And most of you guys thought it would either be 350 or 370. Very few thought it would be anything different than that or far below 350. But the truth here is we are far above 370,000 right now in November. As of the November data dump, it's currently December when this is being recorded and posted. But to me, that was really interesting that a huge chunk of the population thought that we were going to go higher than we did in 2023, but crash harder in the winter again. And that is completely the opposite of what actually occurred. But it'll be really curious to see when I ask a similar fashioned question this year, how people feel about things. Question number 4. This one is always a fun question. What do you think the best performing asset class of 2024 is going to be? The options I put were real estate, equities, which means stocks, commodities, which I specified could be any commodity of your choice, or cryptocurrency, and I put any of your choice as well as an option. Vote was split pretty interestingly, with 33% of people thinking either real estate or stocks would be the highest performer of the year. Only 11% of you guys thought commodities would do the best, and 23% of you guys thought crypto would do the best overall. And this is a little bit of a loaded question because anybody who knows anything about these spaces knows that something like crypto is really volatile and can go up a heck of a lot, but it could also go down a heck of a lot. And something like real estate is generally a little more steady. And while stocks are also volatile, they're less volatile than something like crypto. So if you guys have been paying attention to the world, you'll know that everything went up a pretty good amount this year. Some commodities had a kind of bad year as far as I understand. But crypto won this vote. They took 23% of the vote. Real estate still did excellent and stocks still did excellent too. So that should absolutely be a lesson to you guys at home that you got to make sure you're invested in anything because a year goes by and things just go up. Sometimes they don't, but usually they do. Now, let's take a second and rephrase some of these questions for 2025. And these are going to be live on Instagram the day that this video is posted, just so you guys know. But let's consider where we're at today and let's go and make some predictions for next year. So we're going to go back to question 1. The high for 2024 was about 421,000. The current benchmark price is 417,500. Do we think that anytime in 2025 we are going to eclipse the 2024 high? If you're asking me, I think easily the answer is yes. We only have to go up basically 1% to do so, and I think that that will probably happen by February, maybe even January. So not much of a question, not really interesting to consider at this point. Question number 2. This one's far more curious and far more debatable, but if you guys have been following what I've been writing, I think you'll know what I'm going to answer about this one already. Will the city of Winnipeg benchmark price eclipse the May 2022 all-time high in 2025? And as most of you are aware, I've predicted this to be the case now for about 3 years, and I still think it will absolutely happen. I am voting yes, we will clear the all-time high in 2025. Question number 3. What is the lowest benchmark price that I expect to see in 2025, meaning in the later half of the year? So where will we crash to in the fall or winter? And this one to me is very, very interesting because it could be the case that we have another up-only year where we don't really taper downwards. However, we could go a more traditional route and see a significant pullback after what I expect to be a meteoric rise into the spring. This is the question I'm most interested in hearing from you guys. My personal opinion is we will probably settle at about 430 or 440,000 for the end of 2025, but we will actually touch as high as the 470 mark at the peak of the year. And I'm very interested to see how you guys react to my very optimistic prediction for the following year. Question number 4, exactly the same thing with one number switched from 2024 to 2025. Which asset class is going to perform the best? The list will remain the same as last time. I'm of the opinion that all of them are going to do spectacular things next year. But given the rate environment and given the overall sentiment that we're seeing in markets at this point, I've got to go with the same guess I made last year. I think the crypto markets are going to do the best. I think specifically Bitcoin is going to perform spectacular, and probably a couple of the more popular altcoins are going to do really, really nice things as well. I also believe that stocks have a great year ahead. I think that real estate is going to go up at least 10%, probably closer to 15%. And I'm not an expert at all on commodities, but when everything else goes up, the money's got to go somewhere. So not financial advice, but I do expect all of those things to perform great. I think crypto is going to take the cake in 2025, and I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are on all of this. So that's my predictions for 2025. Go check out my Instagram. Make sure you vote. I'd love to see what you guys have to say, and I am looking forward to seeing you guys in the new year. Peace.